What's going on, everybody? We are here with you guys today, American Football Network here, and we're bringing you guys our college football game day kind of pregame show. We're going to be doing this for a little bit. Hopefully, the football expert will be able to jump in here with us. I'm getting a Q&A going up on my channel stream, so if you guys want to ask some college football questions, go ahead and type them into there and let us know what you're thinking or what you're asking for this slate of games coming up so far here for us today. Got some big matchups today for sure. Got some big matchups. You look at 12 o'clock, we got Louisville at Miami. That'll be a big one. Then you look on ahead, App State at James Madison. Game day's there. That'll be a big matchup just for the fact that App State has a tendency of ruining team seasons. James Madison unbeaten, trying to fight the NCAA to get eligible for a bowl game and for their conference championship. So big game in that one because James Madison wanting to stay undefeated. App State, the king of taking down teams and ruining their season. They got a knack for that. We'll see if they're able to do it today. Then we got a big game for me, UNC at Clemson today at 3:30. We'll see if the Tigers can keep it rolling or if North Carolina is able to get a win here and better their argument to get into the ACC championship, get a better push for that. You look at we also got Georgia at Tennessee at 3:30. That'll be a big one there. We'll see if Tennessee's able to bounce back. They got killed by Missouri last week, 36-7. See if they can bounce back here against the Georgia Bulldogs. Then you look over at Kansas State at Kansas. That'll be a bigger one. Battle for Kansas. We'll see who's able to take that one. And we got Washington at Oregon State tonight. That could have huge implications on not just the playoff, but even the Pac-12 championship. So going to be interesting to see what happens with that one, as it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one today. We got a good slate. I'm getting this Q&A going up now on my channel, and you can find that on American Football Network in the chat. Just got that one going up now. I see we got Sorgy Stories in the house saying, "What's up? How's it going?" So yeah, we're waiting on the football expert to jump in here and see what's going on with him. And we're going to go through our picks and see what we can get going with that and see who we got, who each other has winning here. But I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to find him real quick. All right, so we got a hold of him. He's going to join us here shortly, so we're excited for that as we're trying to get this college football pregame show on the road. But yeah, so I'm excited for it. I'm excited. We got a good slate of games so far. You look at college football roundup for me and him. I got a 2-game lead on him. We're 1-1 right now in this week. Both missed on Boston College. Both hit on Washington State. And how about that game last night? Just an absolute beatdown of the Buffaloes by Wazoo. They just absolutely stomped them. The game was over before it even got started. It didn't last very long. And it it was not a very good game to watch. I'm trying to pull up and see what exactly the final score was in that one because I know it was 42-7 at halftime. Yeah, if it ended up being 56-14, that was just a huge, huge victory for Washington State, and they really needed that one. Not only do they stay alive for the postseason, they will have to beat Oregon next week to get a bowl game, but they won their first four, then lost six in a row. So good for them to get back in the win column there on that one. A huge game for Cam Ward, 18 of 30, 288 yards, two touchdowns. And they just, Josh Kelly out of as a receiver had a great game, 6 catches, 130 yards. You look for Colorado, Shador Sanders, only 6 of 10 for 86 yards. He got a little banged up there. Weren't really able to get a run game going. Only ran for 91 yards, but averaged 2.2 yards a carry. You look at Travis Hunter receiving, that was really about the only bright spot for Colorado. Travis Hunter, 4 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown, averaged 20 and a half yards a catch. So, it was not a good game for them. And you look at BC Pitt able to hold off the Eagles at home, able to hold them off at home. 24-16, I believe, was the final score in that one. But it's going to be a good week of games this week. I'm excited for it, and waiting on him to hop in here. We'll go ahead and give a little preview of our pick'em games this week and give you a little rundown. But I did want to touch on the Michigan stuff too. Is Michigan has agreed, whatever they want to call it, to accept the ban from the Big Ten of Jim Harbaugh not being on the sidelines for the remainder of the regular season, which I think it was just dumb. It might have just been worded that way from ESPN, but I mean, Michigan doesn't really have an option whether they want to accept the ban or not. The Big Ten is over them, and the Big Ten gave them a ban, and that's what's going to happen whether they wanted to accept it or not. But I really think the reason they accepted this and got the Big Ten to stop the investigation is because they're just going to find more and more and more stuff. That's really the only explanation of it, because if they were innocent or didn't really do anything, why would they not take them to court? And so, they're definitely guilty, and there's just more and more stuff coming out. And I really don't think that they should be eligible for the playoff, because if you think about it, it's just going to be vacated. Everything they do this season is going to be vacated. I don't think they should play the game today. I don't think they should play the game next week against Ohio State. I don't think they should play the Big Ten championship game if they make it. I don't think they should be eligible for anything. I think the rest of their season should be forfeited. They shouldn't be allowed to play another game this year because they're cheaters. All they've done is cheated, and they cheated last year. Like all that's going to be vacated from last year. The Big Ten championship, all of that, it's all vacated from last year. So I don't understand why they're still being allowed to play. I think that Michigan should be done for the season. I think that they should not be allowed to play another game, but that's not happening right now. The NCAA, they don't work on the same time frame as everybody else would like for them to work on. It's going to be, it's going to be a few years, at least till next year, before they decide any kind of punishment. But this definitely could be one of the harshest punishments, maybe even since the SMU stuff that went on with the Pony Express. So I think that Michigan's going to get the hammer. I think this will be a statement from the NCAA on what they do to Michigan. But another thing talking about Michigan is they're obviously very technologically advanced. I wouldn't be surprised if they have some kind of wiring system, whatever. Harbaugh is in a hotel and they're getting him in, and he's having communication with those guys in the on the field. I would not be surprised by that at all if they do something like that where he's still got a headset and able to communicate with people. Because you never know with Michigan, and just you hate the cheating stuff because it just takes away the fun of the game. It takes away just the integrity of the game. So you would like to see, you definitely like to see them have to forfeit the rest of the season and not play because they're obviously innocent. They're obviously not innocent. They're 100% guilty. Even with the evidence that we have right now, there's enough evidence to make them forfeit and void everything from the season. And there's just more and more that's going to come out. That's why they're trying to get the NCAA or the Big Ten to stop their investigation by accepting their punishment. They're trying not to get more and more stuff to come out, but it will. More and more will come out, and they will be exposed. But we're going to take a quick break here on our game day show real quick. We're going to take a quick break, and then whenever we come back, the football experts should be here with us, and we can run through the slate of games that we got this season. Remember, I got a Q&A going up in my chat on American Football Network, so make sure you guys check that out if you got any questions for us, and let us know right there. But we'll be back in just a moment. All right, so the football expert is jumping in here with us real quick. I'm putting this link on all of our channels. This is so you can view our college football roundup pick'em and what we've been doing, and you can keep up with it throughout the season. And you guys can keep up with all that stuff and see our pick'ems, as I just put that out on all the channels. So make sure you guys check that out, and you can see what games we got coming up this season or for this week, what all we've done this season, who all we've picked, and you can follow along with us here, as it's going to be a fun week of college football. Is game day is out at James Madison, and they are loud. They are loving it. A huge crowd out there. I think they said that is the largest crowd they've had at a game day all season. I think they might have said maybe all time. I don't think it's all time though, but there is a ton of people there. They're all ecstatic for this game day here at James Madison, and they've been the talk of college football. Them in Michigan, both of them. Unfortunate circumstances. James Madison, at least in a good way, is they've got the bowl ban for 2 seasons after joining the NCAA. Yes, Sorgi Hobson McAfee said all time. I knew it was something like that. I wasn't sure if it was all time or if it was just this season. But yeah, they said all time. So I mean, that's incredible how they've come out, the whole community. And Sorgi, you're welcome to join us if you want. I'll send you the link now. But yeah, it's just been incredible what James Madison has been able to do in just 2 seasons at the FBS level, and they're unbeaten right now. Should be ranked in the top 20 in my opinion. I think that they could beat a good bit. Obviously, they're probably not a team that is gonna be able to beat a Georgia or a Alabama or a Texas or Washington or Oregon, a team like that. But could they go toe to toe with a team like Some of these lower Power Five teams, like a Georgia Tech or a some of these lower ACC schools, some of these Big Ten schools, some of these SEC schools or Pac-12 schools, Big 12. I think they could go toe to toe with a lot of teams. Is just looking through. I think that they could. I think that they could beat Baylor. I think that they could give TCU a game, maybe beat them. I think Florida they could give a hard time. South Carolina, Nebraska, maybe even Wisconsin. The only problem with some of these bigger schools and these Power Five schools is just the size up front and how they're able to do it. But James Madison, they have some dudes. They have some dudes, and they can play football, and they deserve a shot to play in a New Year's Six bowl. I mean, you see what Tulane did last year. Went to the New Year's Six. They beat USC in the Cotton Bowl. I think James Madison could do something similar to that. Um, I'm not saying James Madison needs to be in the playoff or anything like that, but they're definitely a team that deserves to get a shot at the New Year's Six. But at the same time, I have that point that they should be allowed to do it. It's not like they've played a bunch of cupcake teams, because the rule was put in that so teams like James Madison that just made the jump, they don't schedule just a bunch of garbage teams, basically a Division two schedule or FCS schedule. They don't schedule a bunch of teams like that just so they can make a bowl game and get the 6 wins and just get all the money from it. They do it to make sure that they're actually deserving of a bowl game. So James Madison, yes, they haven't played a cupcake schedule. They deserve to be in a bowl game. But at the same time, threatening to take it to court and all this other stuff, I think that's just dumb, because they knew what they were signing up for whenever they came up to the NCAA. They signed the papers, they signed everything, they agreed to it. It's not like the NCAA just randomly decided this year, hey, you know what, you're not going to be allowed to play in a bowl game. They knew what they were. They knew the rules whenever they made the jump. So I get sending the thing to the NCAA, trying to get the waiver to be able to play, but they denied it. Why take it to court? You knew what you were signing up for. It's the same rules everybody else plays by. You agreed to it whenever you came up. So I think, you just use that as motivation going into next season. But I think that it's unfortunate for sure for these guys. They definitely deserve to be in one, but they're not able to. The rule says it. It's not an unfair rule. It's not discriminatory towards them. Nothing. Everybody's played by the same rules, and so that's just something that they're going to have to just get over with and keep moving on with. As Sorgi says, he has James Madison ranked number 17 in his poll. Yeah, I would have them somewhere similar around that. I think there is some teams with some losses that are Power Five that deserve to be, a little higher up than James Madison, but James Madison definitely worthy of a top 20 spot in the playoff. As I'm going to go ahead and put the link in here for my videos if you guys are interested in checking those out. I did a preview of some 3 big games coming up. I do a Clemson preview every week, as I am a Clemson fan, so I'm going to do a preview for my team. But I also did previews for Washington, Oregon State game and the Georgia, Tennessee game. So I'll copy these links in here and drop those in here for you guys to check out if you're interested in that. There is the link for the Clemson and North Carolina preview. And let me get this one here. Here is the link for the Georgia, Tennessee preview. And here is the link for the Washington, Oregon State preview, as those all should be coming through now. So make sure you guys check those out. But I'm going to go ahead and break down a few of these games while we wait on the football expert to get in here. He's a little bit busy right now. But I'll go ahead and run through the games that we have on our college football roundup pick'em contest. So Boston College at Pitt was Thursday night. We both took Boston College. That one was a loss for both of us, as Pitt was able to win there. Then last night we had Colorado at Washington State. Both of us took Washington State in that one. That one obviously was a win. So we're 1-1 right now in this one. So far this week, I have a 2-game lead on him, not counting the games from this week. I'm 138-62. He's 136-64. So it's 139-63 for me, 137-65 for him so far. And then we got Michigan at Maryland on the contest. We got Rutgers at Penn State. Going to be a lot of offense in that one, I would imagine. Now, that one, I wouldn't watch that game unless I was a fan of Rutgers and Penn State. There's no way I would watch that one without being a fan. And you got Louisville at Miami, going to be a big game there. As Van Dyke had been benched from Miami, Emory Williams came in, but he got injured. I believe he's out for the season after what happened to him in the Florida at the end of the Florida State game on the last drive, I believe it was. He fought for a first down and got nailed, destroyed his shoulder. So he's definitely not playing this game. I think they said he'll be back and ready for the spring of next season. Then you look at Oklahoma at BYU. Big 12 matchup there. You got Purdue at Northwestern. Another one of those games I would not watch unless I was a fan of the teams. But Northwestern having a pretty good season. They made their interim coach their full-time head coach. They're, I believe, 5-6. So it's been or 5-5. So it's been a pretty good season for Northwestern, much better than anybody expected. Even when Pat Fitzgerald was going to be the head coach coming in, they still didn't expect Northwestern to do this good. I think I had them winning one or two games in my preview for them earlier this season, but they've been having a sneaky good season. Not a good season, but for Northwestern and for their expectations, they've been having a good season. Yeah, they're 5-5. With a win today, Northwestern's going to a bowl game. So we'll see how that plays out for them. But they've been a very good, a much better team than people expected. So yeah, I mean it's going to be good. As the football expert said, he's not sure if he's going to be able to make it. So I'll just start over and run through these games. Let us know who you guys picked and get us ready for the slate of games we got coming up today. So Michigan at Maryland, we both took Michigan. I think even with Harbaugh out, I just think Michigan's the better football team. I think that they are just. I think they have Maryland signals. They're going to know what they're running. So, but no, I think Michigan wins this game whether they cheated or not. I just think that they're the better team here. And you look at Rutgers at Penn State. I'm going with Penn State. Neither one of these teams has a good offense, really. But the thing that Penn State has is they have a very good defense. I don't see Rutgers being able to move the football. Moving the football at all. I think that Penn State dominates this game. I think they win it something like, 24-3, 24-7, something like that, 27-7, somewhere around that range. I just don't see Rutgers being able to move the ball on them, and I think that Penn State will be able to turn Rutgers over a good bit. Then you look up, you got Louisville at Miami. This is a big game for the ACC. If Miami's able to win this game and North Carolina wins today, that furthers North Carolina to being able to make the ACC championship. As I'm pulling up the standings now to see what goes on with that one. As yes, North Carolina is 4-2 in the conference. Louisville is 6-1. So if a loss here, I don't know what the tiebreakers are, and these teams did not play each other this season, so it would come down to tiebreakers. If Miami won today and North Carolina won out, I'd have to look at the tiebreakers, but those two teams would be tied for second, and it would determine who would go to play Florida State in the conference championship, in the ACC championship. But so that'll be something to watch for. A big game here in Miami. I do think Louisville is going to win. Both of us took Louisville. Both of us took Penn State. And both of us took Michigan, by the way. But yeah, I think Louisville wins. Football expert agreed with me. I think that is a win for the Cardinals. Next up, we got Oklahoma at BYU. This is a game. BYU is not a very good team, but Oklahoma they've been playing it close with a lot of teams. So this is definitely a game I wouldn't be confident in Oklahoma to go in and blow them out, but I am confident that Oklahoma will go in and win. I think the spread on that one is 24.5. So I don't know if Oklahoma is going to cover that, but I do think they win by about 17 plus points. I just don't see BYU being able to really compete with them too much and keep it very close. Next up, we got Purdue at Northwestern. We both took Northwestern in this one. I think Purdue's in a pretty rough spot. I think Northwestern's got some nice momentum, and they're playing for a bowl game. If they win today, they're going to the postseason. And let me pull up their schedule real quick. I don't know who they play next week. So this might be a game where if they got to win, they play Illinois on the road next week. I don't know. That one's not a very high probability of a win there. Both of those teams could be playing for a bowl game in that one if Illinois doesn't win today and Northwestern loses today. But if Northwestern wins this game, I think you got to win this one to get to a bowl game. I don't know if they beat Illinois on the road, but definitely pulling for the Wildcats today. Would love to see them make a bowl game after everybody pretty much. I think the best record I saw them having was 3-9, so that would be huge for them. Next up, we got SMU at Memphis. This is where we disagree. I took SMU. He took Memphis. The spread on this one is 8.5. I don't think SMU covers that. I think they win by a touchdown. I think this is going to be a shootout of a game. I just think SMU's offense is clicking. I like their offense better. I saw the way that Memphis got dominated by Navy. A few other teams. Memphis just, they have the tendency, if it's not a good matchup for them, that they can get blown out. But both of these teams coming in at 8-2, they've been really good on the season. But I do think that when you look at it, you look at who Memphis has lost to. Not Navy. It was Missouri. They beat Navy 28-24, but they gave up a lot of yardage there to Navy. But yeah, lost to Missouri by 7. But they've just played so many close games. They beat Boise State by 3, lost to Tulane by 10, killed UAB 45-21, only beat North Texas by 3, only beat South Florida by 9, beat Charlotte by 6. So I think that Memphis hasn't been as consistent this season as SMU has been. I think SMU is going to have a very good season. A very good game in this one. I think that offense is going to be clicking. I think they're going to put up a bunch of points, and I think SMU gets the win here. I do think it'll be a close game though. But he took Memphis, so that'll be one to watch. Disagreement game there on that one. Next up, we got App State at James Madison. I'm going with James Madison, and so is the football expert. We both took the Dukes in this game. I think that they win. I do think it could be a little bit of a closer one, but I think with game day being there, the crowd, I think it's going to be an electric environment. I think App State's in for a long day. Next up, we got Illinois at Iowa. I'm going with Iowa. Cooper DeJean, big news for Iowa. He is out for the remainder of the season. That is their best defensive player by far, and he is, I believe, like number 10 or 11 on Mel Kiper's big board. So he's a guy who not only is the best player on a very good Iowa defense, he's a guy who's going to go, probably within the top 15 picks in the NFL draft, definitely in the top 20. So without him, that's going to be key. That's going to be a big loss. But I still think that Iowa has what it takes to win this game, especially with it being at home. I'm not a big fan in Illinois. I just don't think Illinois has what it takes to get the win here. I think that it is going to be another win for Iowa, but another ugly win, again, a game I would not want to watch. Next up, we got UNC at Clemson. I'm going with the Tigers. I just think until North Carolina can get a defense, they're not going to win this game, these kind of games whenever their offense is not going to be able to put up 40 points on their own. Now, if Clemson helps them with turnovers, which they have been prone to do this season, then North Carolina's offense could put up 40 points. But if Clemson can limit the turnovers, they've done a good job of that the last 3 weeks. A big reason of why they've played pretty well, or the last 2 weeks. A good reason why they've won the last 2 weeks and beaten two solid teams in Notre Dame and Georgia Tech. Then I think that Clemson can prevail and get a win here. I just think North Carolina is going to have a hard time. I mean, Clemson beat them 39-10 in the ACC championship at a neutral field. Now you put it at Clemson. Pretty similar style teams, pretty similar teams. I think that Clemson gets the win here, although I don't know if they win by 8 like the spread is. I think it's more of a touchdown win for them. But I earlier in the week I was thinking 38-27. That was my score prediction on my video. But I am thinking a little bit closer now. But we both took Clemson. Next up, we got UCLA at USC. I got USC winning this game. The biggest thing for me is the fact that Chip Kelly could be relieved of his duties after this game, regardless of win or loss. So that just makes me wonder how motivated UCLA is really going to be. and just a lot of stuff. There's just so much talk around USC, so many rumors. UCLA, Dante Moore rumored to be potentially transferring out. So, it'll be something to look for sure and see how UCLA does in this game. But we both took USC to win it. Next up, another disagreement. We got NC State at Virginia Tech. I took the Hokies. He took the Wolfpack. I think both of these teams are playing pretty good right now. Both of them are in third for the ACC, and I think Virginia Tech gets the win. I just think with this being a home game for them, they're going to have an electric environment. Me and him both went there in 2021 when Notre Dame played them at night and won it on a walk-off field goal. That environment was crazy. And they're like that for every game, whether it's during the day, at night, whatever. They're always loud and ready to cheer and yell and get behind their team. And I just think Virginia Tech too, as you look over the season, they've been a much better team at home. I think with them being at home with this game, they got the crowd. They typically play better at home. I think Virginia Tech gets the win. Next up, we got Baylor at TCU. I'm going with TCU in this game. We both are. I just think that TCU is just a better football team. I think that they have a little bit of a better team, a little bit more consistency than the Bears of Baylor have had. I'm sorry, Scotty B, but we both took TCU. We got Florida at Missouri next. I'm taking Missouri, and so is he. Missouri's going to stomp them like they did Tennessee last week. I just think Missouri's a hot team. They're playing really good. They're the better team, and I just don't think Florida is going to be able to keep it a game for a while. I think they could for about a half, but after that, I think Missouri's just gonna start blowing them out. Then we got Kentucky at South Carolina. Both of us taking Kentucky, but something to watch here. Yesterday, the line on this game flipped 4 points. Typically, that is a quarterback-related flip. So Devin Leary has been dealing with an eye issue. If he's out, that could completely change things in this game, and South Carolina could get the win. But no news of that, but the line did flip. But I'm still rolling with Kentucky, and so is he. I think Kentucky's going to be able to get the job done, and I think that they can end South Carolina's season, or at least their bowl hopes. South Carolina will still have to play Clemson next week. A game I'm very nervous about, especially if South Carolina wins this game. They're playing us at home at night for a chance to go to a bowl game. So definitely want Kentucky to go ahead and beat them here tonight. Next up, we got Nebraska at Wisconsin, another disagreement game on. This is Anthony's Badgers here, Sorgy Stories. Make sure you subscribe to those guys. They do some great work over there, a lot of great videos. So help them, go subscribe over there to them and check them out. But I got Nebraska. The football experts got Wisconsin. I just think Wisconsin's in a bad spot right now. I think that you look at who they've got at quarterback. It's not a very good quarterback room. And I mean, they still have Braylon Allen. They're going to have the best player on the field. But I think Nebraska is able to get the job done. I think Matt Rule gets a win over Luke Fickell on the road. So give me the Cornhuskers. I think they beat the Badgers. And one of these teams, whoever wins, will become bowl eligible. Both of them sitting at 5-5 here. Now to our big three games. We got Georgia at Tennessee. We both went with Georgia. I think Georgia blows them out. I think they beat them by 20-plus points. I think that spread on that one is an easy cover for the Bulldogs. I just think Tennessee's in a bad spot. Now, this is a home game for Tennessee. It's going to be an electric crowd. So maybe that factors into it, but I just don't think so because Tennessee's had better teams. Tennessee's had better teams play this Georgia team at home, and they just haven't been able to do it. So I think that Georgia gets the win here. Brock Bowers back for his second game off the injury. I think he's going to be even more of a factor in this one. So I think that's going to be a nice win for the Bulldogs there. Next up, we got Kansas State at Kansas. We both went with Kansas State. I just think it's going to be hard for this Jayhawks team without Jalen Daniels, which he said he will return next season, but he's out for the rest of this one. I just think it's going to be hard for them in this game to really do much. I think that, Kansas State is just a better football team with Kansas not having Jalen Daniels. So give me the Wildcats. Then the nightcap on ABC, the big game that could have huge playoff implications as well as Pac-12 championship implications. Washington at Oregon State. I got Washington. The football expert took Oregon State. This is going to be a great game. I think in the end, that offense is going to be just enough to escape Corvallis with a win and keep their playoff hopes alive. But it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a tough battle, and I think it's going to come down to the wire. But give me Washington over the Beavers of Oregon State. The football expert took Oregon State in that one. So that wraps up our college football roundup pick'em. Let's get to a few of you guys. Here is Sorgi says, thoughts on my top 25. Number 1, Georgia. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Washington. Number 4, Michigan. Number 5, Florida State. Number 6, Texas. Number 7, Alabama. Number 8, Oregon. Number 9, Louisville. Number 10, Penn State. Number 11, Ole Miss. Number 12, Missouri. Number 13, Oklahoma. Number 14, Oregon State. 15, Iowa. 16, UNC. 17, James Madison. 18, LSU. 19, Tennessee. 20, Utah. 21, Notre Dame. 22, Kansas. 23, Oklahoma State. 24, Kansas State. And 25, Liberty. Two things. I think Liberty should be higher, and I think Tennessee should be lower. And then when you get into the top 15 up here, I think that Ole Miss should be farther down after they just got destroyed by Georgia. I think Penn State should be farther down. I think Oregon State and Oklahoma should be in front of those two. But other than that, I think it's a good top 25. I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head there with that one. I think that it's a pretty good top 25. Those are just the only things I personally would change, and maybe bump Notre Dame up a little bit more. Maybe just bump Tennessee down to 21 and put Notre Dame and Utah up ahead of them. But I think that it's going to be, I think that's a good top 25, and I think it's definitely going to change a lot after today for sure. You got some big games here between some top 25 teams. I think a few of them are going to go down. So it's going to be fun. But yeah, so that's going to wrap up the stream for today. We appreciate all of you guys that tuned in with us. Appreciate all the support from you guys. It's going to be a fun day of college football. Treat yourselves to it. Be lazy, just lay on the couch, watch football all day. It's going to be a fun one. But I appreciate all of you guys watching on all 3 channels. We appreciate the support we get from you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the American Football Network, College Football Roundup, and the Football Expert. You can find all 3 of the links on any of our channel pages. We've got them featured on all 3. So check all those out. But I appreciate all of you guys watching, and we will see you guys next time. I might be live for a few games today, so just keep a watch on that. But we appreciate all of you guys. We'll see you next time.